Welcome to the #1 source for information, news, and opinion on your Columbus Blue Jackets. This is CBJ in 30, presented by Telhio Credit Union. You can also find the audio version on the CBJ Radio SoundCloud page, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, Google Play Music, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Now here's your host, Bob McElligott.
Welcome to another edition of CBJ in 30, presented by Telhio Credit Union. A little bit of a tough one today, to be honest with you. Took me a little bit of time after that game in Chicago last night to get this one going, because it was just, I don't know, it was tough. It was tough. The last couple of games have been tough. And, 2-1 win on Friday, at least that's a little bit easier to stomach when you win the game. But losing that game last night, losing it the way that they lost it last night, that just made it all the tougher, to be honest with you. So I had to just, take a little bit of time to get over that and then sit down and talk to you. And there are so many things to talk to you about and so many questions that you have. So I'm going to get to answering your questions, because this is a Monday Mailbag edition of the show. But before I can answer your questions, I have to remind you, I should say. I don't have to tell you. You've heard this from me so many times. And if you've heard this from me and you've acted upon it, good for you. And I hope that this has helped you. And if you haven't acted upon it, well, it's time for you to listen again, because I want to tell you about the good people over at Telhio Credit Union. Putting people above profits is something that is not even close to being new for Telhio Credit Union. I mean, they started this back in 1934. That's where this mindset came into being. That's where their philosophy came into being. That's when they started doing it. And that was a long, long time ago. And they haven't changed. They haven't changed. They feel the same way about it today as they did back then. So the question for you is, why settle for a normal bank when you have a credit union that wants to put you above everything else? It's just a very simple question. It's a very simple answer. If you'd like to know more, and I think you should know more, go to the website, telhio.org, surf around, go to the different tabs. You can get all the information right there. You can peruse it at your leisure, as a matter of fact. If you have any questions, there's a live chat option during business hours on the right-hand side of the screen as well. But you should check it out. Good people, and they can do some good things to help you. Telhio Credit Union. Find them on the web at telhio.org. All right, let's get to your questions. They are aplenty once again today. We've got some voice questions, video questions. You can always send those to me by recording on your phone, emailing it to me, Bobby Mack, BOBBYMAC, at bluejackets.com. That is simple to do. Again, voice memo, just your voice, video, if you want your face to be on the show, and name, where you're from, and boom, go at it. Let me give you an example as we get things started off with the very first question.
Hey, Bobby Mack, this is Bakes in Columbus, and just had two quick questions. One of them that I didn't realize until about a week ago, but it's been on my mind ever since, is that Torts' contract is up at the end of the year, and that concerns me, just since I think he single-handedly, with obviously help from the rest of the front office and ownership, changed the culture in Columbus. There were not many changes from that team that Todd Richards had to when Torts took over. And I think he has got to be the number one priority for the team, just to make sure he's locked up. Now, I believe maybe there was one year where he went into the final year and signed a deal at the end. But I'm a little concerned, and I'm wondering if we should be concerned, if you've had a good vibe from him that, you think he's going to keep coaching. I hope it's not the last run with him, and it doesn't feel like the last run, but you never know. Secondly, I was wondering where you kind of see Patrick Laine fitting in. I don't know if it's too much offense on one line, but I would love to see him with Max Domi and Oliver Bjorkstrand, or Cam, really either of the wingers, but wondering where you see him fitting in. I would love to hear it again that Laine potentially could be the greatest goal scorer that we've ever had talent-wise on the team. Just because, man, we need some offense. We desperately need some goals. But, I like where we're at, and I guess that's the last question. Just, are you happy where we're at this point? Would you have guessed we'd had about this many points? Maybe a few less, or a few more. But thanks for doing this. Thank you very much for putting them out late at night for people like me that listen to them right away when they come out late at night. And go Jackets. Hopefully Tuesday's much better than tonight.
Hear, hear. Thank you, Bakes. I appreciate that. Where to attack that? First of all, you said, I don't know if it would be too much offense. Too much offense. You can't have too much offense on this team, as you alluded to right after that, because there are days, and they are more than it should be, that there is no offense on this team, or very little. I shouldn't say no offense. That's not fair. Certainly not enough. You pointed that out, and you're right. Not enough by a long shot. Let's just look at some things here. Let me tell you some things. Some things you already know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Boone Jenner getting a goal in Chicago has his total at 3 on the year. That's good. That's good for Boone Jenner to, this is a guy that's had a lot of goals in his career before, okay? So that's a good start. Oliver Bjorkstrand also has 3. It's good. It's all right? Nick Foligno has 3. That's good. Nick's looking for a bounce-back offensive year. That's good. What about Alexander Texier? He's got 4. That's really good. Okay. Young guy, 4 goals, leading the way. Those are all good things. Now, let's go to the flip side of that. And you mentioned Cam Atkinson. Cam Atkinson right now has 1 goal. It's a shorthanded goal. It's a goal Sergei Bobrovsky shouldn't have given up, but he did, so it counts, so okay. But he has 1 goal so far. Who else are you looking for goals out of? Zach Werenski has 1. Zach had 20 last year. Played more than 56 games, I get it, but he's got 1. Seth Jones has 0. You're expecting something coming off the blue line with Seth. Oh, by the way, Eric Robinson has 2 goals. So that's more than Cam Atkinson has at this point. Max Domi has 1. What am I trying to say here? I'm basically trying to say what you just said. Look, wherever you put Patrick Laine, whoever you put him with, he's going to make them better. I can tell you that. Guaranteed. Will he be the most prolific goal scorer in the history of the Columbus Blue Jackets? It's very possible. He should be. Based on his talent, what he does, how he does it, he should be. Okay? Who do you put him with? Again, he's going to make them better. I don't care. I don't care if it's Bjorkstrand, Atkinson, man in the moon. I don't care. I think Max Domi is going to get the opportunity to skate with him at first. John Tortorella has basically said that. So he's going to get his chance. Look, Max has got to produce more. He's got to do better. He's got that 1 goal. It was a power play goal. Yay. Okay. That's good. That's a start. But when are we going to build on that? All right. He needs to bring more. And I know he's a new guy to the team, and maybe that's not fair, but it's an offensively starved team. Offense is something you have in your arsenal. You need to bring it. You need to show it. You need to deliver it. Just a fact. I like Max Domi. I think he's going to be good for this team. I just want to see more of it now. I want to see it sooner. They need to see it sooner. You cannot just rest all your hopes on one guy. He's going to make you better for sure. He's going to help your power play for sure. But you can't just throw it all on him. Guys have got to pick it up. There are guys on this team that need to be goal scorers, and they need to be goal scorers yesterday. Actually, if they would have been goal scorers yesterday, they might have won the game. Friday night's game, I don't have that big of a problem with. It was a back-to-back, first one of the year. They played Thursday night at home. They played 2 long games, went to shootouts, and then they traveled. But Korpisalo was ready to go. And nobody noticed how tired the guys were. They win the game. They grind it out. Korpisalo's their best player. They grind it out. Last night, different story, and we can get to the goaltending part of it later. But you got to score. My God, when you get one goal in a game, you're asking your goalie to pitch a shutout. Not fair and not likely in the National Hockey League. The question about Torts being in the last year of his contract, has he gone through it before? Yeah, I think one other time here he went through it, or he signed right before the season started. He did an extension or whatever. I talked to him. I'm not in the same room with him. Our conversations are a little bit different. I haven't talked to him about this. I know he doesn't want to talk about it. If you want to ask me what my gut feeling is, I don't know. I don't know where he is in his decision. I think, he's always talked about being on the back nine, and he's closer to the end than he is to the beginning. And he's talked about the fact that he liked being with his wife during the pandemic and doing the stuff with the animals. And, maybe he gets to the end and he says, okay, that's enough of this. I would hope that the competitor in him wants to continue to go. And I would hope that the Blue Jackets want to have him continue to be their head coach, because, one thing you said about the ownership and the management and him, they've turned all this around, and you're right about that. You can't do it without the ownership. You can't do it without the management. But I'm going to tell you something, and I've probably told you this story before, so just bear with me. When I got here and I came in the 09-10 season, the Blue Jackets had just gone to the playoffs for the first time in franchise history, and I thought I was showing up at a great time. And what was it? 2 years after that, or the year after that, or whatever, they were drafting Ryan Murray second overall, and that's only because they lost the lottery. So it wasn't what it seemed to be. The team wasn't where it seemed to be. And I got here, and Ken Hitchcock was the coach, and then Claude Noel took over after him, and then Scott Arniel came in, and then Todd Richards after him, and then John Tortorella. Okay? It's my 12th season. This is my 5th coach. This coach told me early on, I was asked to go to a season ticket holder function, or a group of people that wanted dinner with the coach, whatever it was. The coach was supposed to be Todd Richards, and then it turned out to be John Tortorella. And I was asked, because I had a relationship with him from doing pregame interviews, if I would go and help to facilitate conversation if need be. So my wife and I went, and we had a dinner, and people asked him questions. He answered whatever. He answered questions that I was like, I cannot believe this guy's answering this question. I can't believe that guy, that fan, had the guts to ask that controversial question. And I really can't believe that this guy just answered it honestly. This was in the early going. I didn't realize, how honest he was going to be the whole time he was here. But he told me after that, we were standing with him after everybody had gone in the dressing room, and he went like this, and he looked at all the lockers, and he went like this, and he said, we're going to change this in here. And at first I thought he meant they're going to change the layout of the room. And he said, no, we're going to change the culture here. We're going to change the expectations here. And he did. And here's the thing. I heard that from the other 4 guys, and I never saw him do it. This guy said he was going to do it, and he did it. And that's why this team has been in the playoffs 4 straight years. So I don't know what he's going to do, but I hope, from a personal standpoint, because I love being around the guy and I love working with him, I love the talks that we have together. So from that standpoint, I hope he stays, but I think he is good for this franchise. Is the message going to wear out one day? Of course it is. Of course it is. It always does. I just hope that day's a little bit further down the road, but we'll see. Good questions, Bakes. I appreciate it. All right, let's go on, get our next voice question.
Hey, Bobby, this is Caleb Wilson from Athens, Ohio, and I just had a quick question about the power play situation. So it seems like in the past couple of games that I've noticed that the Blue Jackets tend to, do the whole dump and chase maneuver without really trying to get any setup in the zone before trying to attack the net. So I was wondering, is that like a new school of thought when it comes to the power play around the NHL? And do you think that the addition of Patrick Laine to that power play will change the strategy moving forward from that dump and chase to try and get more zone time to set up just a bona fide shooter like Laine? I'm a big fan of the show, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate that very much. I don't know if the dump and chase is a new strategy or if it's just out of sheer frustration that they can't get the puck in the zone. They can't skate it in consistently and hold on to it while they get in there and get set up. I'm not sure. I don't think it is, personally, I don't think the best option when you're on the power play and you have one more player than the other team has to have possession of the puck in the neutral zone and then willingly give up possession of such puck to dump it and go chase it, because you may or may not win that battle. And as we're seeing, maybe lose that battle more times than not. Okay. So I don't know that it's a strategy or if it's out of frustration that the other stuff's not working. Will Patrick Laine help? He will help. Will he help you get into the zone? That I'm not so sure. Once you get in there and he's set up, is he going to help? Oh, my goodness, yes. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. Will it be too late by then? That I don't know either. So we're all going to find out together, Caleb. We're all going to find out together. All right. Let's go to another one here and see what else we got. Go.
Hey, Bob. Cameron Maynard in Belfry, Kentucky. I'm excited for Patrick Laine to get here. I saw there's a chance he could play Tuesday. I hope he does. My question for you is, who do you think he'll get paired with on a line? I do think, now I don't know if this is going to happen, and probably not, but I would love to see Laine on a line with Oliver Bjorkstrand and Alexander Texier. To me, that would be a line that could possibly bring a lot of firepower that this team needs. Whether they're going to do that or pair him with, Cam Atkinson to get him going like Cam did with Panarin a couple years ago, who knows? But, I think that Laine on a line with Ollie and Tex, that would be pretty good. I think that could really bring some excitement. Just wanted to get your thoughts, and go Jackets. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Cameron. I like that. I told you that Torts has basically said he's going to play with Domi, but I like that. I think Texier winds up with this guy eventually. Even if it starts out with somebody else, even if it starts off with Domi, I think, what do I know? But I think it ends up with Texier. Alexander Texier is the best player on this team right now. Hands down. Don't even question me. He's the best player on this team right now. Does he make mistakes? Yes. Is he young? Yes. Is he learning? Yes. Does he play hard? Yes. Does he give his all on every shift? Yes. Does that include practice? Yes. So if Alexander Texier winds up with Patrick Laine, I will be the least surprised person on the planet. I would start him there. I would start him there based out of the fact that Texier is busting his hump every time he plays and he's producing. I would give him the first crack at it. Again, I don't think they will, but I would. And would I put him with Oliver Bjorkstrand? Yeah, I would. Because I think Oliver Bjorkstrand is going to be your most prolific goal scorer that's not named Patrick Laine. Now, Cam Atkinson. I said he's got to get it going. When you play with Panarin, he's scoring 35, 40 goals in a year. So do you want to try to give him that space again? That guy that's going to take a double team and get the pass across the ice to Cam? Yeah, so that makes sense too. All right? And I'll tell you where that makes even more sense to me. I think, now stay with me here, and don't get mad at me because I know that Cam had some big seasons prior to Panarin. But I'm talking recent history. In a what have you done for me lately world, stay with me here for a second, okay? I think that Oliver Bjorkstrand is going to produce goals and points no matter what line he's on. I think Cam Atkinson may have to play with Patrick Laine to get that room that he needs to be successful like he had with Panarin. So, again, we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see what happens. And if he goes on with Cam and Cam scores 25 goals, great. Great. If he goes with Bjorkstrand and he scores 26 goals, great. Somebody score goals. Somebody score goals. Please. Somebody. My man Josh, back on the show again this week. Here it is.
Hey, Bob, it's Josh here from Grove City, Ohio. Man, I really loved your interview with Mark Letestu. I've heard him be interviewed as a player, and I feel like Mark Letestu talking to you in retirement was night and day different than when he was as a player. And he always spoke well and always, was transparent with his thoughts, but I just felt like it was at a whole nother level now. My question for you is, for players, when you interview them, do you feel like they are reserved or that they can't really speak 100% what's in their mind because they're a player with a certain organization? Because again, I just felt like the Mark Letestu that we just heard from was completely different from player, and I loved it. I love that transparency and that realness. So yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on that. And you probably heard my daughter in the background giving her 2 cents as well. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Josh. Hey, it's a family show. I'm cool with that. It's a family show. No worries whatsoever. It's a good question, and I love talking to Mark. I always love talking with Mark. Actually, it doesn't matter what the day is or what the subject is. And Mark and I have talked. I've been fortunate. I've got to talk to Mark for a long time in his tenure here with the Blue Jackets. Both times that he's been here, as a matter of fact. So I enjoy talking to him, and I think I can safely say after that interview that you're referencing that he enjoys talking to me. So it works both ways. But anyway, to answer your question, is it the best interview I've done with Mark Letestu? Probably. But go look at my last interview with Rick Nash back at the beginning of the pandemic. I think that's the best one I ever did with him. When you're not playing anymore, you feel free to speak a little bit more. You're a little bit guarded as a player. That's the one thing that drives me crazy about hockey players. I think they're too guarded. I think they're great people. I think they have great personalities. I think they need to let that out a little bit more. You don't have to swear. You don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to, try to put on a show all the time, but just converse with me, because my conversations with guys that are not in front of a microphone are great. They're great. I love them. Nick Foligno's a great talker. I love interviewing Nick Foligno. You know what I love more? When I'm just talking to Nick Foligno without there being a microphone around. Cam Atkinson, same thing. Anybody, same thing. Jonas Corposalo, I love talking to him without a microphone. This is great. But the best thing about that interview with Mark Letestu, and this is what I really appreciate out of players, I talked to him. What was that interview? 25 minutes? That was half of the time that we talked. I mean, we sat there and we talked about a lot of things. That's just what made the cut. So it's, they're just different. They can talk to you differently. They're not worried about protecting their teammates or their organization or whatever the case is. Mark Letestu is Mark Letestu, and we don't have to talk X's and O's. I think sometimes that stuff gets so, I'm talking to him, I'm talking about killing penalties, and he's talking about how they're trying to clog the lanes and all that. It's all true, but how fun is that? How fun is that? Not very. Wouldn't you rather talk about him playing with Crosby and McDavid? Wouldn't you rather him say which one he feels is the best in the world right now from a guy that played with both of them? I would. That's more interesting stuff. You think if he's playing in the league, you think if he's with the Edmonton Oilers and I go to him and I go, hey, Mark, in an interview like that, hey, Mark, who's the best player in the world, Connor McDavid or Sidney Crosby? What do you think he's going to say? He's going to bail on that question in a nice way because he's a nice guy. But this time, there's an answer, and that's just an example of what I'm talking about. That's why they're better when they're done playing, because it's not that they're more honest. It's just they're more open. They're more forthcoming. But I'm glad you enjoyed that interview, because I really like talking to Mark. And thank Jarmo Kekalainen for that, because when I was listening to an interview he did on NHL radio on Sirius XM, I heard him mention that they talked with Mark Letestu about Jack Roslovic and about Patrik Laine. So that was right then. I went, well, no brainer. I text Mark. We have a correspondence. That sounds weird, but we talk. So let's talk. And he was great enough to come on with me and do that. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. And I got a lot of good feedback on that one. So thanks to all of you that got back to me on that. All right, let's go to Twitter at Bobby Mack Sports. Swan Dad says, what is going on with Seth Jones? Bit of a slow start, or is it just me? It's not you. It's a bit of a slow start. Now, we've seen this out of Seth before. And again, this is a weird year. I don't want to pin it all on Seth because abbreviated camp and, all this stuff going on. Am I making excuses for him? Yeah, okay, maybe I am. But I think he's one of the greatest players in the league, especially on the blue line. And it has been a slow start for him. It's not just you. You're right. But I know Seth Jones, he's a proud guy, and he's going to work to turn it around and get better every day, every single day. Let's see. Finn McCool says, how do we clone Patrick Laine? How do you clone Patrick Laine? I don't know. First, make sure that he is what he is, and then you can worry about cloning him. What if he's subpar? He won't be. It's a joke. It's a joke. Frank Steele. Who sits with Patrick Laine in the lineup? And then Frank says, it better not be Robbie, a.k.a. Eric Robinson. I don't think it's going to be Eric Robinson. I'll tell you why. See where Eric Robinson was playing last night with Atkinson and Texier? Is that right? Am I right on that? He was playing with Atkinson anyway. See, I told you I was trying to erase that game from my mind. But anyhow, here's the thing. Eric Robinson has done so many good things. Riley Nash, Eric Robinson, and blank. John Tortorella has kind of let those guys go. I don't think it's going to be Eric Robinson. I think it's the easy one to do is Liam Foudy. And I don't know that I would do that. And people ask about that. And if I have a, let me just see if I have I want to see if I have a question about this before I get to it. Actually, here's Alex Nuttall, who says, with Laine coming in, who do you think Torts will sit? I thought it would be Robinson, but after his latest goal, I've been thinking it would be Grigorenko. What are your thoughts? See, so Alex he's on board with that whole thing, that Robinson's been playing well and he should not sit. I'm with that. I'm in that camp. I don't think that he should sit. I'm just double checking here. Make sure, because I don't want to miss anybody's. I want to hit this one time. All right, so here, I'm going to lump this one in with it. All right, so we're talking about who sits when Laine comes into the lineup, all right? That's our overall subject. Let's leave it there. But I want to add this one, too, from Dylan, who says, what are your thoughts on Liam Foudy's play so far? I really enjoy watching his speed and watching him get better every game with the puck. And I'll tell you why I'm putting Dylan's question in here with the other ones. It's very simple. The easy scratch to make is Liam Foudy. But do you want Liam Foudy sitting or do you want him playing? Do you want him developing or do you want him watching? And maybe you can watch one or two, but that's the easy scratch to make. He's a rookie. He had some chances. Look at last night. He's right in front of the goalie. Doesn't cash in. I don't know. I haven't minded his game. I don't mind how he plays. The speed jumps out, obviously. Maybe Torts will say he needs to watch a game and we'll sit him out. And next game, we're going to sit this guy out and then we'll sit a third guy out. That could be. It very well could be. But Foudy is the easy scratch to make. But to go back to Alex's point, Grigorenko, and I know there was all this fanfare about bringing him back from the KHL, and I know he's a former first-round pick, and I know that he was in camp on the line with Dubois and Bjorkstrand, which looked like the top line, but is gone. But to me, that's another easy one too. Do you want your young guy in Foudy to develop, or do you want to play this guy and, hope that – I know he's got a goal, so do you want to play him and hope that he, can start to find some scoring touch? You're playing him down in the lineup anyway. I think that would be – it wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me if he came out. But I'm telling you, Foudy's the easy scratch. Robinson, for me, doesn't come out. He's playing too well right now. So it's got to be one of those other two guys. Will it be Riley Nash someday? Maybe. But I think Riley Nash is playing well right now, and he can take and win faceoffs. So he's staying in the lineup. All right. Let's get to another couple of questions. Gary Weinheimer, thoughts on why this team struggles to score more than 2 goals in a game? Thoughts? Sometimes they try to get too fancy when they should just get ugly. So they're just underperforming. As I said right off the start, there are too many guys that should be better that aren't good enough right now. They will get better. They have to get better. They have to get better. They're too talented, and they've had too much success before for them not to get better. So, it can be a number of things. You can overthink it. You can psych yourself out. You can try to do too many things instead of just simplifying your game, all of that. But look, this is a team that has had problems finishing. Torch said it last night. We got there. We didn't finish. Torch has said that for 3 or 4 years. They're going to get a finisher. They're literally going to get a finish guy when Laine steps in. That's going to be one. How many more guys are going to be able to step up after that? This is why we all wanted to see something big in free agency during the offseason, and we didn't. And now this guy's going to come in. That's great. Now you technically don't have a number 1 center. So is it the greatest? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Where else here? Zach Hunter. Can we start Korpisalo more now? Buckeye State Sports. Why do goalies leave their net? So again, I'm just going to put these things together here because I don't want to, I want to try not to be repeating myself. Thought I had another one here. Did I have another one? I thought I had another one with the goalie being the subject. Maybe I'm wrong. It has happened, not often, but it has happened. All right, anyway. I guess I'll just go with those two because I don't see another one. I thought there was another one here about is it time for, I know I had one. Is it time for Torch to start looking to play Korpisalo more? Listen, let's just pump the brakes here a minute, all right? Just pump the brakes. Elvis had a bad game. Elvis admitted to having a bad game. Elvis made a couple of bad choices. I thought on the first one, the puck got on end. I thought that didn't help him when he tried to play it. The second one, that's a mistake. All right? They're both mistakes. I'll give him a little bit of a pass on the first one. The second one, he just got swarmed under. At that point in the game, don't do that. Why do goalies leave their net? Listen, Elvis moves the puck really well. When a goalie moves it well, they can act as a third defenseman. They can really help you to get out of your own end. See Carey Price. When you dump the puck on Carey Price, he gets it immediately to his defenseman. They get it to the forwards. Boom, they're gone. When you have a good puck-moving goaltender, it is a weapon. When your goaltender messes up, it is very obvious and blatant. And it's not always fair. Listen, my son played goal for a long, long time. And he was that guy. He was out of the crease, out of the net, behind the net, in the corner, diving, poke checking. Okay? So when Elvis does it, it doesn't faze me. I'm like, oh, there he goes. Look, if he makes that play correctly, it's a great play. Because he didn't, it's easy to hang the game on him. They scored 1 goal. Okay? I said this before, I'll say it again. When you score 1 goal, you're asking your goaltender to get a shutout in the National Hockey League. It's not fair, and it doesn't happen very often. You've got to score more than 1 goal. So you can get as mad as you want to at Elvis. You can say he shouldn't have done that, and should Korpisalo play more? The answer to that question, by the way, is no, not now. Not yet. What, do you not give this guy a chance to go back in there and win the next game? You just say, hey, really your first big screw up of the year, so why don't you take a seat, and we'll let this other guy play till he screws up. I don't think that's fair. I don't think they'll do that. I'm sure they've already talked about what he did and how it cost them goals. I'm not even going to say cost them the game because they didn't score but one goal. Got to take that, the offense has got to shoulder some blame. So, no, I don't think it's time for Korpisalo to play more. I don't. I think the guy made mistakes. He owned up to his mistakes. And I think he's going to be better when he plays again on Thursday against Dallas. I don't think, look, every time you went to work, first time you screwed up, if they told you to go home and they'll have somebody else come in, is that fair? No, it's not fair. I know it's a National Hockey League. I know you got to win as many games as you can. And I know this, if he goes out and he does the same thing in his next start with the same result, I'm going to say, well, I was stupid. Should have played Corpy more. But I feel comfortable in what I'm telling you right now. Made a couple of mistakes. He is a human. Even though he's wearing pads and a mask, he's not a machine under there. He's a human. He's trying to win the game. He knows his team isn't scoring goals. He's trying to get the puck out of his own end so they can go the other way. Didn't work out. Didn't work out. It's easy to blame the goalie. And I will blame the goalies. I will. I did. He screwed up. But did he screw up enough not to stay in the rotation they're in? No, I don't think so. Let's see. 614 CBJ fan on Twitter says to me, when trading for a player who will need an immediate contract like Jack Roslovic did, are general managers allowed to ask permission from the player's current team to talk to the player about potential contracts prior to an official trade? Seems like a lot of detail to work out with someone within hours. Yes, you can get that kind of permission. You can do that. Just depends on who you're dealing with and how they want to deal with it, but can be done. Next here, let's see. Blue Jackets UK. The Blue Jackets and Avalanche were supposed to play in Finland last year. Or this year, right? This year. This says last year, but it's really this year, which last year being 2020 because it would have happened in the fall. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Anyway, Blue Jackets and Avalanche were supposed to play in Finland. Any news on whether this will be rearranged going forward? Maybe 2022, all being well and safe. Also, do you expect the NHL to ever return to the UK? Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they will reschedule it. How soon? That depends on all this. I hope to God it's next year. I hope that when we get to the fall, we get back to normal. That international play might have to wait a little bit longer. Who knows? International travel might have to wait a little bit longer. Who knows? So I'm not going to predict anything except that I think that when they're able to do it, they'll do it. I do think that. And will they come back to the UK? I don't know. That's a good question. I could try to find out the answer to that question for you. I mean, they're trying to go places where they're marketing the game and there's a lot of Finns on this team, right? General manager is the first ever European general manager in the NHL. It makes sense. So they're trying to do that. They're trying to get into new markets. That's why they were going to go into China. And then the Olympics are in China. So I guess they are going to go into China for that. Trying to open it up to new markets. So the UK, I'm not going to say no. And I don't know why they would ever say no to anywhere, but I don't know. So I can't answer that for you. I just spent 48 seconds to say nothing because I don't know the answer to the question. So that I'm sorry for. But the Finland thing, yeah, I think they'll do that. Donald Bradner has the last question today. Do you think the NHL should review missed high sticking calls like they do flagrant fouls in the NBA? I'm obviously referring to last game's hit on Del Zotto and or the other night's hit on Del Zotto and last night against Texier. Slippery slope, Donald. Slippery slope. It's easy to say yes because the one would have taken away a goal, so maybe you don't have to go to overtime in a shootout when Del Zotto got hit. Here's the thing with me. The guy's bleeding all over the place. They have to bring out the ice crew to scrape the blood off the ice. How do you miss that? How do you miss that? And Texier, yeah, he got nailed tonight, but that's last night. That's kind of at the end of the play. And could it have been a penalty? Should it? Yeah. I don't think that one was as flagrant, if you will. So they're not going to go for it. They're not going to stop the game any more than they already are, to be honest with you. Sure, it would be great if you could get goals taken away and get penalties instead, double minor penalties instead. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think they'll do it. They miss some stuff. Again, they're human too. Referees are human too. Do I wish they got them all right? Yeah, unless it's the Blue Jackets doing it. They miss some of that stuff too. So, I just don't think they're going to be in any hurry to stop the game any more than they are now. So there you go. Thank you for your questions. They're great questions. I love just sitting and talking on these Mondays about this stuff. I mean, really, it couldn't be more fun than having you engage, and you engage because you care. And I'm glad that you care, and I'm glad that you are there as well, because makes it a whole lot better for all of us, doesn't it? Blue Jackets will be back in action tomorrow night at Nationwide Arena. They'll be taking on the Dallas Stars. Stars had a slow start to their season because they had COVID-19 restrictions and they had guys that were testing positive. They didn't get started till late, and they were playing pretty well once they did get started. So they are the defending Western Conference champs. They were in the Stanley Cup final last year against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So they will be here, take on the Blue Jackets tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. I hope that you will join me for the call of that game tomorrow on the Blue Jackets Radio Network. In the meantime, thank you for all your questions today. It's awesome. Remember, on Twitter, you can send them at Bobby Mack Sports. And if you want to do a voice memo or a video, and my man Josh from Grove City is like, he's there every week with a video. That's great. And people are starting to get a little bit out of their comfort zone and going with the voice questions. They're going to step up. I know you're going to step up to the next level at some point here. So thank you guys for doing that. And I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it a bunch. Tomorrow, Blue Jackets and Stars at Nationwide Arena. Until then, I'm Bob McElligott saying so long.